Hey everybody, happy Friday. Hopefully you're well. Thought I'd do a little throwback Friday. It's about a year ago or so, and some of the things I was enjoying then. Thought I'd break them back out. Some of it I haven't had for a while. Pipe I haven't used much. It's a 316 7LE Mila. It's the honey pipe, kind of the pot shaped, I guess. Not the best pipe for Virginia's, but that's what's in it. So I'm smoking and I always jack up this pronunciation, but it's Reiner. I always want to call it Rainier, but it's Reiner, number 71 Golden Flake. Was digging around in the cellar the other day, found 5 paint cans, 100 gram paint cans of it. So opened them all up, put them in a jar, and here we go. Then I dug this out. This was something that was really big for me last summer, but I hadn't been messing with it in a long time. Looky there, unopened too. Let me get that open, pour a dram, come back and we'll have a Friday evening pipe and a dram. Be right back, everybody. Well, we got a dram now. Happy Friday, everybody. I love that Johnny Gold. Sweet vanilla. Sweet vanilla. So, the Reiner number 71 Gold Flake is really good. My only knock on it's a little bitey. So you better take your time with it. It's a little bitey. It's flavored with honey and orange. It has white burley, and it has Virginia's, and it has Perique. Considered a vapor. Tin note is amazing, but as most tobaccos, the tin note doesn't necessarily translate to the aroma. It's not a bad aroma, but the tin note's amazing. But the flavor's pretty good. Can't complain. So this is just gonna be a random Friday of just checking in with you. Check out what I got in the mail today. Yep, I broke down and got one. It's a COVID key. Now, I don't know how sanitary. This is brass. Supposedly be antimicrobial. Really, to be candid with you, one of the reasons I bought it is this company is veteran owned. So I'm a veteran. And this company's based out of Columbus, Ohio, which is pretty much my hometown. So for the price, I got Mrs. Buckeye and I one. If they work, great. If not, I don't care, because I supported a veteran and I supported my home state and hometown. Columbus isn't my hometown, but 25 miles away. I usually consider it home. But you're supposed to be able to open doors and touch pads and sign your name with it. And if nothing, this good old virus has made me a germaphobe, if nothing else. So kind of interesting to see how that is transpired. But again, don't care if it's a novelty. Really don't. I'll use it. And if people don't like it, I'll jam it in their throat. Nah, I won't do that. But, to each their own. Again, if it helps, so what? If it doesn't, so what? I'd have bought it anyway, because I wanted to support the veterans and support my hometown. And those guys, they used to make fidget spinners when fidget spinners were big. So now they're doing these. They're selling a lot of them, and it keeps people employed. So good stuff. But this is a week from hell. Armpit shot. I don't think Curmudgeon's got that trademarked yet. He got the elbow shot. Maybe I'll do the armpit shot. Not that you care about that. Don't blame me, I don't want neither. But anyhow, tightening up the old belt at work again. Just one more notch on expenses. We get one thing tightened, tighten it again. So, right thing to do without question. Just gets frustrating. Just gets frustrating. But hey, it's COVID-19 life, man. Waiting for the state to announce if they're going to open phase 3 here. I think June 26th. Cases are on the rise, but testing's on the rise. Who knows? I don't think it's going to matter. The natives are restless, so I think before long people are just going to do what they want. I'm already starting to see it. You know, they had a racetrack here in North Carolina. They allowed to open last week. You could open as long as you social distance and wore masks and had no more than X amount of people. Well, 4,000 people went, no masks, no social distance. I think people are tired of it. They want the bars open. So, I think one way or the other, people are going to do what they're going to do here before long, just like in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's just a crazy scene up there. So, I don't know why it took them so long to make an arrest. They're patting themselves on the back because it only took them 4 days. I get due process, but, you know, holy cow. Could at least made the initial arrest and held the guy for 24 hours while you processed, you got your case in line. Anybody else, they put you in the slammer right away, and they'd be working on that case, you know. Trust and believe you'd have charges put on you within 4 days, before 4 days. They'd get them on the 24 hours. So, I think the folks are losing their cause, though. I mean, the protesting and all that, fantastically fine with. I got no problem with it. But when you turn it into looting and stealing and thieving and vandalism, I think you're losing your message a little bit. So, some will disagree with that. And hey, if you do, that's okay. It's your prerogative. But see, you had people's attention, people were listening. And when you start doing stuff like that, you lose a lot of support. So, it is what it is. But it's been kind of a rainy, all week rain. Muggy, steamy. Kind of a deal. But it is what it is. So, paper was good. I procrastinated on, got an honors grade. The school I'm in, the Jack Welch Management Institute, they use the Ivy League scale to grade. So, it's not an A, B, C, D. It's honors and high pass and low pass and unsatisfactory. It's really honors is an A, and high pass is a B, roughly, and pass is a C, low pass is a D, and of course unsatisfactory. Yeah, but doing well in that. Class 1's almost in the books, and it's not as intrusive as I thought it would be, and I'm actually having fun with it. So I've learned a lot, made a lot of connections. This next class is going to be really fun. It's about communication and presentations, and we get to do video presentations, which be fun. I do those, and work on our LinkedIn profiles and work on speech and memos, and from an executive level. Should have no problem with that. But we were going to camp this weekend, but it's with the rain off and on. I just didn't want to sit under the awning in the heat all weekend. So we'll go on another nice weekend. Paying for a seasonal spot we haven't used in a dang long time yet. That's great. Kurt, if you're watching, I hadn't forgot your samples. This has just been the week from hell, brother. I'll get your samples out. So, shout out to my brother Paladin Piper. If you haven't subbed him, check out his channel. Good guy. Well, beware if you check out his channel, because he does some cool stuff, man. And I watched him do a box opening with all this shave soap and all that other stuff, and got me interested. Started asking some questions, and yeah, he's doing some wet shaving. I started researching it and watching videos on it. It looks pretty cool. So guess who's wet shaving now? There's Scar. Still learning. Armpit shot. But actually I like it. It's really cool. Get a really nice smooth shave. I mean, the real reason to do it is you could save a ton of money. I bought 100 blades for $7. And they say you could shave 3-4 times per blade. So, I mean, as opposed to buying cartridges, you just say, but you know, I like it because the lather and just the relaxation and the scent and just getting the old school, the old vibe down. So I wish I had the guts or the ability to use a straight razor. I'm using a safety, they call them a DE, double-edged safety. Wish I had the guts to use a straight razor. I always loved that, man. I think that's cool as hell. I tried it once in my 20s and just, I'm sure if I took my time with it and learned it, I'd be fine with it. Maybe someday. But I'm enjoying the wet shaving. Thanks, Paladin. Another thing I could spend my money on. Appreciate you, brother. I will tell you this, this Reiner's calmed down. It's not as bitey as it was when it first lit. It's a pain to get it lit, and it was pretty dry. But what do you do? What do you do, folks? So how's your Fridays going? Hopefully you're well. Hopefully you're working or getting ready to get back to work. Hopefully your state's opening. It's going to be interesting. We shall see what happens with all this reopening. Like I said in the video before, gotta do it. Kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't. Both ways you're probably gonna negatively impact somebody's life and or potentially kill somebody. So, glad I'm not the one making that decision. But I'm glad we have people that are. And I'm sure they'll figure it out. I'm sure they'll figure it out. As I've said the whole time, I think it's nowhere near as bad as a lot of people are thinking it is. But I also think it's a lot worse than some people think it is. If that makes sense. We're still getting it. Looks like the NHL and NBA are working on plans to get back to some sort of playing, which would be fun. Baseball as well. My fear is college football season. My Buckeyes are loaded, and we should be able to make a run for the national championship again this year. And I don't want to lose that season. I wouldn't want to lose a season if the Buckeyes were going to stink. I'd watch them anyway. They can be 0 whatever. I'd still watch. It's in my blood. In my blood. So yeah, this time of year usually reminds me of, you're talking almost June, starting to get a little hotter out, a little more muggy. This is the kind of stuff that reminds me how I became a Cubs fan. A lot of people ask, "You're a Cubs fan from Ohio?" Yeah, WGN, man. We would go to the pool every day. We had a membership, public pool, and come home about 2 or 3 or 4. We had cable back then. Not at first, but we finally got some cable. But you didn't have a ton of channels, maybe 10 or 20 at the most. One of those channels was WGN, and every day the Cubs were on when I'd come home. So every day I'd watch the Cubs, and just fell in love with the Cubs because that's what I was watching and that's who was on. And a lot of people fell in love with the Braves that way too, because TBS was also on at the time. So that's how a lot of people became Cubs fans, especially my age, the older fogies. Nowadays it doesn't matter. You can watch whoever you want on your phone, on demand, whatever. That was crazy. I was thinking I pretty much can see all Ohio State games now. You just got to find the channel they're on. They're always on every week. But in the '90s, I remember paying $20 for the pay-per-view just to watch Ohio State because they weren't on the national game. What you had to do. So, well, I probably bored the holy hell out of you long enough. If you stuck around, appreciate you. Hopefully you're well. Again, I like to do these videos for fun and check in with y'all, but I also like to look back on them and see what was going on a year ago or so. Reiner was going on, and sure enough, Johnny Walker Gold was going on. So thought I'd do a throwback, see what was up. So might get through this pipe and grab a stogie. My new monthly subscription from Small Batch came in. I still have my 3 from last month, so maybe I'll review those this weekend. I have a Bruce Banner. I can't remember who makes it off the top of my head, but it's kind of scary. It's supposed to be major strength and major. They made 2. They made the Bruce Banner and the Hulk. Gosh, I wish I could remember who made that without looking it up, but I won't take the time to do that. It's supposed to be pretty strong, so I might be a wimp on that one. But there's a Davidoff in there, and I think an AJ Fernandez as well. Plus my normal stuff. So, maybe go to the. That's what I'll do tomorrow. It's a rainy, crummy day. I'll go to the B&M tomorrow. Looking for some La Creme, some Crown Heads La Creme. I want to try that on a recommendation of Randy. A few other things I'd like to pick up. I have short stories, Fuente short stories, but I'd love to get my hands on some Maduro short stories. I think they make them. It's tough to get. Or a Between the Lines short story. Hemingway Between the Lines with the Cameroon and the Maduro rapper swirl. Maybe I'll get me one of those tomorrow. But anyhow, folks, be well. And enjoy your weekend. Don't take things too seriously. Be safe out there. Don't riot. But at the same time, stand up for your cause. Stand up for your cause, man. And I applaud everybody in Minnesota that stood up for their cause. Just wish that subset of folks hadn't. And I know not all of them were rioters. There's a lot of good people out there fighting for a cause, and I think it's a pretty doggone good cause. So I think the police were 100% wrong on that one. Usually I support them, but this one, you screwed up, guys. you screwed it up. Pretty much killed that man. And there's just no excuse on the Lord's green earth for you to take another man's life in that manner. So now you have to pay the price, and hopefully they follow through. But folks, be well. Take care of each other. Pay it forward. Check on your neighbors. And we'll catch you next time. Maybe do some cigar reviews. I'm going to jump over to House Party, see who's hanging, and maybe I'll see you there. Be good, everybody. Have a good night.